Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Ted Goff here, and this is Michigan CNC Webinar. Glad you could join us tonight. Tonight we're going to have a little talk about a show and tell, and we'll share some things that we made and produced over the holiday weekend, and see if we can learn and share and get some ideas from each other. So we're not going to have any real presenters. We're just going to have like an open forum and just do a little show and tell. So we'll go with that, and we'll see how that all works out for us. So I'll go ahead and start, and we'll get this thing going. What I ended up making this year was I made a bunch of what's called charcuterie boards. And these charcuterie boards are, if you've not heard of it before, they're a board that you put meat on, meat and cheeses and things like that. Let me see if I can make this larger. There you go. So I made about 20 of these things, and what I ended up doing is I went to a local cabinet shop and I asked them for some free samples of, or actually scraps of some of their Corian. And the first cabinet shop I went to, I was quite surprised, because the year before I had gone to that same cabinet shop and I'd asked them if they had any scraps, and they said, "Sure, here, take this one." And they gave me a pretty large piece, and it was more than enough that I needed for the whole project that I had last year. So I had already had in my mind that I was going to do the same thing. I was going to make these boards and go get some free Corian, and then I'd be good to go. So I started cutting my boards. I designed my boards, and I started cutting them. I went to that same cabinet shop, and he goes, "Oh, no, we won't give any of this away. We use all of our scraps now." What they ended up doing with the scraps, I was quite surprised. They really don't do much with Corian. They are more into marble and granite and onyx and that kind of stuff. But they do have Corian there, and what they do is they cut it up in little squares. And they use it as stickers, just like we would for drying wood. You know, you stack the wood up to let it dry. And they use the Corian as spacers between the marble. So when they're stacking up the marble, where they're moving it around, they'll cut up scraps of Corian. So they were unwilling to give any Corian away. So I ended up I called a couple of friends of mine that were in the cabinet shop, and they said, ask this one place in Pontiac. And so I always felt that it was a lot easier if you go over there and talk to them in person than calling them on the phone. And I went over there and I looked at this place, and oh my gosh, this is a machine shop of machine shops. This thing was as big as any auto industry plant. I mean, it was in Pontiac, and it was next to where they had the movie theaters at one time. And when I say movie theaters, I mean movie sets. They used to have a full movie set in Pontiac, just like Hollywood movie sets. And they moved out, and a lot of companies moved in. But this place had 30 or 40 bay doors. But you go into this place, and it was like you could eat off the floor. It was just spotless. And their main business is they make showrooms for Audi, BMW, and Land Rover. So if you go into a car dealership, this company makes all the showrooms for the dealerships. So, you walk in the front door and you can't even hardly get in the place. You got to have, security and everything else. So I thought, oh, man, I'm not going to have any luck here. I walked up the front desk and I asked the secretary, I said, "Can I talk to someone that, has some Corian?" I said, "I'm looking for some scraps." And she goes, "Well, let me go see if I can get somebody." And she took me in the back room, and I walked back there, and I was just, it was amazing to see the CNC equipment and these big, gigantic formatting printers. And so, they had these printers that you could print, billboards with. And they had every kind of piece of woodworking tool, and it was just phenomenal. But anyways, the guy was really nice to me, and he said, "Hey, yeah, I'll give you a piece, no problem at all." And he gave me a big piece that was, actually he gave me two pieces that were like 24 by 48. I had to put them in my truck So I had enough to make 20 of these, and I cut them up, and there's the stack. He gave me some white and some different grays, and I just cut them on my CNC and put them in the board. And really, to make these, it was so simple. Oops, I gotta let somebody. I gotta pay attention to that. So it was very simple to design this on a spire. Basically, all it is a. Let's see if you can see my mouse here. All it is a circle with a pocket, and these boards. I didn't really feel like gluing the boards up, so I went to a cabinet drawer place. We've got another drawer place in Pontiac that they make all the cabinet drawers for just about all the companies around. I mean, you go in there and he's got. Oh, this guy has these branding irons that are electric on the drill press. He must have 50 different brands up there. So if he's making drawers for CraftMate, he puts the branding iron in there, puts it on his drawer, and he's got dovetail drawers. That's all he makes is drawers. Actually, that's not true. He's making drawer fronts and doors. So, but he doesn't make the cabinet himself. So these are made out of maple, hard maple. And he glued them all up and everything for me and charged me $10 a piece, which may have been a little bit pricey, but I didn't have to do a thing. All he did is give me a block of wood, a block that was 3/4 inch thick. And I forget how long they were. Let me pull up the Aspire program. Probably right here. Okay. So let's see. 16 by 10, 10 by 16. So all I did was, this is how I drew it up. It's just all it is an oval and then another pocket. And then I used this other line here to offset for, offset for my, for the Corian piece that's set inside. And then I went to Lowe's and Menards and bought some door handles. And then I put door handles on, and I put a couple different types. And I think the door handles ran between $3 and $5 a piece. So for $15, I had 20 Christmas presents. I mean, I know it gets a little bit pricey when you got to give away that many, but I give them away to all the girls, all the women. I make something special for all the women every year. So that's what I made for the girls. And on the back, I flipped it over, and I have a laser on my CNC, and I laser etched my name on it. I apologize for my voice here. I'm having a hard time with it. So that was one of the items that I made this year. So I made quite a few things. So let's go to the next item. The next thing that I made was wallets. And what I had done with the wallets was I used to have a bunch of Kydex. Do you know what Kydex is? Kydex is the material that they make gun holsters out of. And this material comes in all kinds of stuff. I use carbon fiber. So I did a couple of things. I made these I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. Let me take a drink here. They make what's called an EDC wallet. It's called an everyday carry wallet. And all it is two pieces and with a rubber band. I'll try to see if I can show you in that's what it is right there. What I used was a wristband, a heavy wristband. And then if you open it up like this, then you can pull your credit cards out. And what's really nice about it is really thin, really low profile. This is only 60 thousandths material. And it's a plastic, but it's a carbon fiber look. You can see in the picture. So what I did is I cut these out, and let me pull up the Aspire program that I designed this in. Let me see. Okay, this is just one. So basically that's what I did. This line right here is simply the credit card, the size of the credit card. Okay? This here was the design that I used for this pocket to figure out how wide the wristband, the rubber band was that wrapped around it. I put holes in it. I don't know that anybody will ever use the holes, but I looked online and I saw that some people had holes in theirs for tying a lanyard or tying it together. But simply, I put this little dish in it, and the reason why I put the dish in it is it makes it really easy to open up from side to side. So basically, that's all that is. It's just a profile cut, and it cuts it out, and it's just one piece, so cheap. And they sell online for about $30. So I gave out. So somebody has their microphone off. If you could turn your microphone off, that would help. So what I did is I cut them out, and then I put their name on every one of them. And I just etched it in with a little engraving etch to get their name in there, and I only went down like 0.01 is all I went down, and I engraved their name in there. So that was a really simple deal to do. So anybody got any questions on the wallet?
Did you mount the carbon fiber on wood, or is it carbon fiber touching carbon fiber?
No. Yeah. So what I did was, go back to my pictures here. I learned by my mistake. I wish I had better pictures, but this is just, it's really a plastic. It's a hard plastic, and it's called Kydex, Kydex. If you look online, you can find it. And what I really found is that if you do one, it's not a problem if you don't have a real flat spoil board. But if you're cutting 20 out, and you're cutting it out, I had a sheet that was 24 inches wide. 24 inches long, I mean, like 12 inches wide. And if you're engraving on it, it needs to be very flat, because if you don't, you're going to cut too shallow or too deep on one end. And so what I did is I put just a piece of plywood down on top of my spoil board, and I surfaced it. So then it was totally flat. And then I took this sheet of plastic, and I just put double-faced tape on it. I put 3 rows on it so that it would touch every one. Let me make this larger so you can see it. So every one of these, like I ran a piece of tape across three rows. And I just use, I'll tell you what I found works the best. And it's not very expensive. And the only place I can find it is at Menards. And it's double-faced duct tape. And if you go into like Menards, you can't find it with the tapes. You have to go over to the carpet area, and it's the only place you can find it. And it's a roll of white tape, and it's called duct tape, D-U-C-K, tape. And what I like about it is it's easy to peel the plastic off of it, the white plastic. It's very thin, and it sticks like mad. So I put that on there so that I didn't have to have any fastener, didn't have to worry about my bit hitting anything. And I just cut it with an 1/8 inch end mill. So I just ripped around it, and it cleaned it really good, and I just pick them off, and I could go to the next sheet. And as you can see by the names, there's like 2 McKinseys of each and 2 Gauthier. So, you know, you have to make 2 for each one. What's really nice about this concept with this wallet is that it's very thin. Like I said about the guns, when you carry a gun, the term that they use in carrying guns is EDC, everyday carry. Well, that's what this wallet's supposed to kind of be, an everyday carry. So like when I went to Vegas, right after Tally went to Vegas, I didn't want to carry my wallet around with me all day long. So I kept my wallet in the hotel room safe, and then I just grabbed this little thin wallet, and I put my driver's license and the couple credit cards I had, and I had a wafer thin wallet in my pocket all day. But I had the cards that I wanted. So it's nice. I actually am now carrying it all the time. The other nice thing about this is that with that band, that wristband, and I can't tell you where to get them because my brother used to work for a company that had wristbands, and so I got mine for free, but the company's out of business, so can't get them from them anymore. So, but I would just get a small wristband online. It's better than a rubber band, a heavy rubber band. This is, I don't know what the thickness is, but it's really nice. But with that said, you put the credit cards inside, and then if you got any money, you can put it on the outside. And then if you want to make it a thinner profile, you only carry one of the pieces of plastic, and it keeps it really flat. Any other questions with the wallet? Okay. Then let me go to the next thing. I made a couple of things. I made a cutting board. I made this cutting board. I've got a relative that she's in her 60s, and she's had diabetes since she was like 8 years old. And she's really big into the Walk for the Cure for Diabetes. So I just grabbed the shoe online from the diabetes things, and I inlaid it. It didn't turn out as nice as I had hoped. I mean, it turned out really kind of nice, but these bottom letters kind of, she loved it. So that's all that really mattered. But I had to draw these letters up by hand, and I kind of screwed up on a couple of the letters. But that was another gift that I made. But that's hard maple, and that's, again, that's walnut inlay. And then I made a couple of things from the Aspire, the Michael Tyler projects. So this was the mirror that he had, and you can get the plans for free from Vetric, and that was the Aspire. And this is, I found to be a real simple project. I just took a piece of oak, I think it's red oak, and you just carve it, and it's two-sided. Let's see if I can pull some more pictures up. You know, that was it there, and a couple of the little tabs, and run it around, flip it over, and then I just took my engraver and engraved my name on it, and here's the front of it. So that was a real nice, simple project. But the one project that really amazed me, that everybody seemed to like more than ever, was the other Aspire program that was a free program, and that was those Nordic Santa Claus. Okay, these, I don't know if you guys saw them. So I started carving a couple of these out. I think I only made 3. I gave one to my daughter's mother-in-law, and then my wife and my daughter. But that's what it looks like. This was just plain pine. This was a walnut, and Becky with Vetric, she's got a video on the Vetric website, and they've got free plans you can download and everything, so you don't have to do a thing. All you got to do is download it, start cutting. Make sure your feeds and speeds are right, and load in the right post-processor, and you're good to go. So, of course, I always do one thing a little bit more. Let me close this out so get rid of these. And so I started painting them. So this was the first one I painted, and then I got to there. So let me back up. So I just painted. I just used red acrylic paint, and then I painted white. Well, first what I did is I painted just some gray, and then I painted white, and then I kind of striated the gray to make it look like a beard. And then you color some white and red together and get your pink. And I put a couple little dots there, and then on the shoes I put a couple little X's. So here's the 3 of them that I ended up with. So how I did this, and this is pretty simple to do, guys. You could do this easy. I mean, even if you're not, very artistic, it's very quite easy. This is not a two-sided process. It's just one-sided. Okay? So these stars, what I did was I took a piece of cardboard. Actually, I just took a piece of paper, and I just drew by hand a star. And I took an X-Acto knife, and I cut the star out. And then I laid the little stencil on top of that. And then most of you probably know what dry brushing is. You just get a little bit of white paint on a brush, a stiff brush. And then you dab it over the stencil. You got a star. You just keep moving the piece of paper around and you do the stars. And it's that simple. So that's what I did. So then what I did is I carried it just one step further. I went in Aspire and I took this drawing and I mirror imaged it. Okay? So I cut one out in this direction and I mirrored and I flipped it over to the other. So it's still a one-sided process. I just cut two of them out. I cut one out in one direction and I cut one out in the other direction. And then what I did is I glued it together. And let's see if I got a picture of it. Right here. I got a picture of it here. And you see what I did here? You can still see the seam. I didn't really seal it up that good. But I just put them together, so that made it a two-sided item. And then I just painted it all the way around to make it look like it was a full thing. So now it doesn't matter where you put it on the counter and this and that. So as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of paint to just doll it up a little bit. I put a couple little black dots for the eyes, and there you have it. So that was the Nordic Santa Claus by Vectric, and that was one of their free 12 Days of Christmas. So if you wanted to find it, you can go into Vectric and 12 Days of Christmas. Any questions on that one? Okay, let's see what else I can find. I did some more cutting boards. My son-in-law graduated from Michigan State, so I came up with that design. Michigan State Spartans. That one turned out pretty good. I was happy with how that one turned out. And that was just the standard that everybody uses, the 0.2 and 0.1, 0.1. And it seemed to be plenty deep enough. It covered it all up. The one thing that I started doing, let's see if I got a picture here. Let's see. I think I do. There we go. A little video. Okay, I'm gluing up a cutting board with my little vacuum system. It's a little pump that I put together. And let's see. Vacuum is strumming. I'll leave it be clamped in here, and we'll see how this inlay turns out. Okay, and that inlay turned out beautiful. It really turned out nice. So what I did was, of course, I cut both pieces, and I put it together, and I just split it in that bag. That little pump is really a nice pump. It's from the Frugal. I can look it up for you if anybody's interested and let you know. But what it is, this guy takes, and I bought that pump years ago, and I know probably 20 guys that have bought that pump. And I shouldn't say 20 years ago. I bet you 5 years ago I probably bought it, maybe a little bit longer than that. And what it is this guy takes respirator machines, and he takes them and refurbishes them, turns them into vacuum pumps. And so what's really nice about them is they're used to running in the hospital 24 hours a day for days and days and days and days, and they don't overheat. So they're really nice. And I was always having a problem clamping down my cutting boards and getting them flat. Now, and this is pretty small. I can get one clamp on it. But if you got a bigger board, you can throw it into a little vacuum bag, throw that pump on it, and you're done. Boom, it seals. And it really does a nice job. So, anybody got questions on the vacuum pump? that can be a whole deal on its own. If anybody's interested, I can get them the information on that.
What bag did you use?
You got to speak closer to your microphone because your volume's low.
What bag did you use? Was your bag
It's a polyurethane bag, and I got it from. There's a guy online that sells all kinds of vacuum bag equipment. I'm trying to remember his name. If I heard it, I would remember it. But if you need the information, Callie, I can get it to you.
Okay. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah, that's not hard to do. Okay, so and then I made. Since then, these weren't gifts, but I might as well show them. I think John was mentioning that he bought into the package A. So that was one of the little frames in the package A. That cleaned up really nice. Let's see if I got a better. I just took a little, Dremel wire tool to it, and after that, and then I sealed it up. So I had made that. Anything else? I think that's about it for me. Yeah, I think that's it. I did make this. I think I posted it. That was also one other thing. I think that stands about. I think it stands about 12 inches. No, maybe it's taller than that. 15 inches, maybe. That stands. And I was pretty happy. I made it out of a piece of scrap wood. You can see it's got a lot of nicks and cuts and stuff in it. So those were the items that I made for the holiday. So if anybody else wants to share, I know Jim Cook had something that you want me to bring that website up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to be as elaborate, Ted.
No, that's fine. Okay, so what do we need here?
Click the X in the upper right corner there.
Right here?
No, upper right. Further, upper. Yeah.
Upper here? No.
There's an X up there.
Okay. Let me see if this is in the way. Huh.
Yeah, it is. There's a gray X. You want to click. Move your mouse to the right. Further to the right. Now up. No.
Okay.
A little bit further to the right.
You know why? Oh, you know why? My thing was covered. Here, I see it now.
There you go.
I see it. I had all my information for tonight was covering it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so now where would you like to go?
That's just my my header there. So if you just want to scroll down.
Okay.
That was a joy sign that made for my future daughter-in-law. Nothing spectacular. It's.
Tell us how you painted it. Was it any of it etched? Was it?
No, it's just V-carved. I used barnwood, and then just used a V-carved bit to trace around the letters, and then just painted it. Just that.
Well, what a simple deal and cheap, inexpensive.
Yeah, most of my stuff that I paint is just using straight acrylic paint. So.
Okay. And do you spray a polyurethane over the top of it?
Normally I do. This one I did not. My wife did not want. She wanted it kind of dull like that. So this one I did not.
Okay.
Then keep scrolling down. Well,
very nice. Yeah, that's a great idea. And where'd you get the barnwood? Just laying around?
I helped a guy tear down a barn about 5 years ago, so I got a stack of it in the basement.
Okay. Tally, you were asking where I got the mirror itself from? Joann Fabrics. So you can get it at Joann Fabrics or Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And if any of you don't know, all of them accept each other's coupons. So if you go to Michael's, you can show them Hobby Lobby's 40% off and get 40% off. Those mirrors are really cheap. They're they were under $10. I think you get 2 of them. They sell them 2 or 3 in a packet. Okay. So let's move on here.
Yeah, keep going down past that.
What's this? That's kind of cool.
So, yeah, well, this one I posted quite a while. It wasn't a Christmas present. This was a wedding present for a couple of people at work. They actually got married at the Lighthouse Pier there in Manistee.
They had to love that.
They did. Now this is I saw this online somebody made. It was I call it a cube shelf. So it's just two I'll call it half cubes, one on each side, and the two braces, I'll call it, in the middle. You'll see I notched out two notches there. I actually put two keyhole cuts in each one, and they're exactly 16 inches apart. So that, yeah, right there, I put that in my daughter's bathroom, and it was 25 and a half, I think, inches total width. But they fit right. All right, I made it exactly 16 to hit two studs.
Okay, so did you just put a couple of screws in from the bottom to stop the shelf from lifting?
There are two, actually a total of 4 screws. They're both in the back, screwed into the wall, and then with the two keyhole cuts in the back, it just slits right on the wall.
Okay, but you don't worry about it pulling forward?
That's why I put 2 in each. There's a total of 4 screws, but it's pretty solid as long as you hit a stud.
No, what I'm talking about is the shelf itself is laid up on top of there.
Oh yeah, it just sits right on top of there, or top of that. If you go back to the other one, other picture, it doesn't have the shelf in it. Yeah, it just sits right on those pieces of wood that sticks out.
Yeah, I guess if you were worried about it going forward, you could run one screw up the bottom if you wanted to, I guess.
They're pretty solid. I mean, I used a table saw with my sled to notch out a peg in each end of each one, and then I used my CNC machine and carved out a hole. So it's not just glued together flat. They're pegged together.
No, I'm not worried about these shelves. I'm worried about the shelf that sits on here. You're sliding it forward into those slots. It cannot move left or right.
No,
and it can go back if it's against the wall, but it can pull forward if somebody was, unless it's pretty tight in there.
It's pretty tight in there.
Okay.
Unless you're a 3-4-year-old kid trying to do push-ups on it, it's not coming off.
Yeah, okay, good. All righty. Okay, let's keep scrolling down.
Yeah, my daughter's a Star Wars fan.
Got here.
Her wedding, she had a theme of Star Wars, and I was quite busy making a lot of characters. Of course, when the new Disney Plus came out with their Mandalorian, she had to have her baby Yoda. That's just out of hard maple, traced out, and then I painted them. Okay,
so did you run your V-bit in these grooves?
Yes, I did.
Now, did you just paint that and then sand it, or how did you do your painting?
So I sanded it first, and then I painted it, and then I just use a black fine Sharpie, the fine tip Sharpie, and just traced my my profile. Okay.
Well, that paint job I love. Turned out really nice.
Thank you. And she had to have the 900-year-old Yoda as well, so.
They have lots of expression.
Yeah, we do.
You want me to keep going forward or close this out and slide down some more?
Go ahead to the right and see what happens.
Okay.
Keep going. Again. Oh, no. All right, you're going to have to close out.
Okay.
And we've been making Christmas ornaments. I got 2 kids. They both bought their new homes this past year, so I blurred out the street name, but I been making ornaments for them every year, and this was a representation of them each buying their new home.
Wonderful. Very cool. I like how the scallops go and how you know. It's nice that we can take the machines and just make a little groove, and then we've got paint lines.
Yep.
I've been using my drawing pen on my computer, on my CNC more and more.
Okay.
So.
And then this was a gift. A lady at work, her husband made a bird feeder with his grandpa like 40 years ago, and it was in pretty bad shape, and so she wanted a replication of it. And then the only thing he did different is, in memory of his grandpa, he wanted for Pa.
Okay.
This is a clock that I made for my mom. She's heavy into hummingbirds, so I made that and she put that in her kitchen.
Very cool. You get your clock mechanisms from Clockworks?
Clock-it.
Clock-it, yes. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
This was mine. I wanted to. I've made a few Jack Daniel things, but this was one thing I want to do for myself, and it's actually just sitting there over my left shoulder here. The only thing different in my one in my shop versus what you see here is I had a hard time looking at the numbers. Typically, I knew what time it was, but I ended up putting white paint in all those 12 dots.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up doing that just a little while ago. So that was well after I made that.
Okay, so let me ask a couple of questions about it. Plywood in the back.
It's oak. It's all oak.
Okay, it's oak. So how did you get the stain going?
Oh, so what I did was I have the dark walnut stain, and so what I did was I stained it really quick, and then as soon as I was done staining it, I took a rag and tried to scrape it back off real quick with paint thinner to kind of get that look. And
then your shape, your angles to get your circle.
Yep.
Did you use a segmenting jig, or did you use your CNC to figure that out?
I just used a table saw. I figured out the angle that I had to have, and I just cut them all out. Actually, what I did was, I think there's only 3 pieces of wood there. I just cut 3 pieces of wood with the correct angle. I don't remember what the angle is right now. And then once I did that, I cut them off at 1.5 inches each.
And how did you come up figuring the angle? Of course, you're a math and computer whiz.
Actually, I'll tell you.
That's the hard part.
Actually, I cheated. I put it into a spire, and then
that's exactly what I was going to mention that I would have done. I would have put it in the spire and grabbed that octagonal deal and said, "Hey, I want 25 sides. What's the angle going to be?"
No, actually, I didn't even do that. What I did was I drew a circle, and then I drew a line.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
All right, just create something new.
Yeah, let me move my deal because it's right over the top where I'm going. It doesn't matter what size it is.
No, it doesn't matter what size it is.
Close it out. See, I would have used this guy right here.
Well, I didn't.
And then see here, you can say your center point, and then you could tell it your radius and how many points you want. Say you want 10 points.
Yeah.
And then draw a circle. Well, let me go there, but then you can resize it. Okay, so back to you. What did you?
Actually, what I did, just close that.
Okay.
Make a circle.
Put it in the middle.
Yep. And then close that. And then take your the line drawer there with the Z underneath the circle. Yep. Take that, and then just
polyline. Okay.
A short line.
Just make a short line.
Anywhere. Just break to the left there. Oh, straight up and down. Sorry.
Okay. Well, you can do that by hitting. Oh, I guess I got to highlight it first, right? So I can do that by hitting 9. No, it's not going to go. It's going to go there. Okay,
yeah.
So I got to go straight up and down, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
close that. And then I highlighted the line. Well, delete that. Yeah, highlight the line, or is it the circle? I might get these mixed up. Maybe it's the circle and the line, but whichever one you do. And then under the offset and legend area. Yep. I think it's the middle one. To the right. That one. And then copy object. And then now you have to hold your shift key down and highlight the circle, I believe. There you go. And then number of copies, I put 24. Yep. You got to click. Yep. And then put 24.
Can you just randomly pick 24?
Oops. No. Okay. Well, 24 because I wanted twice the number of. There's 12 digits in the clock. I wanted double that. Align with the curve. Check that box right there. There you go. Now do that. There you go. So that's how I figured out the angle.
Okay, and then how did you calculate the angle? Did you use the arcs or the curves?
Well, when
angle that was on?
When you draw a line over on top of it, it told me the angle.
What was this line for?
That's the one that duplicated all those lines around it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So if you click on that, where are you seeing the angle?
What you want to do is, what I did was draw another line over on top of not the 1 o'clock, but the one between the 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and it told me what angle it was.
Right here? This one?
Yeah, but you have to draw another line on top of it. Like I said, that's how I did it.
Okay.
Click there, and then draw it down, and then there's your angle right there. Right there. All right.
I see.
It did say it
right there, 75 degrees.
Yeah.
It's 1.55. Because if I move, see, there's 68 degrees. Okay, right. That's easy. Okay, I got it. Hopefully everybody else learned something too. Perfect. Okay, great.
Sometimes I overthink things.
No, hey, that's great. I'm glad you solved that. Okay. Did you have more pictures you wanted to share?
I don't know what else I had out there.
Okay. Let me go look and see. Here. Okay. So.
Just a business card holder.
Very cool. Simple idea. Looks good.
And then this is this is actually their sign that they have in front of their shop, and I made a 1/24th size miniature of it.
Okay.
Class ring for a junior that's going to graduate in 2022. I think
a variety of things here.
Yeah, a couple that was married to each other. One from Michigan, one's from Alabama.
And that was the big game last weekend.
Yeah. And this is the free download, but I modified the cheeses to things that I knew and understood.
So it's a cheese board?
Yeah, it's a freebie off of Vectric's site.
Okay. I guess I don't remember seeing that. Okay.
It is out there, but I use different cheese words.
And this is a Youper.
Yeah, that's a big Youper. It's probably 4 foot wide. Somebody wanted it for their wall.
Okay.
So
another cheese board?
Cheese with cheese and cracker board I designed.
Very cool.
Yeah. The only thing I made there was the chicken for my sister, and that's her bridge at her property in Colorado. Nice weather they were having that day.
Obviously, but it's a great picture. Beautiful picture.
There's my sister. Yeah, she just lacquered it. That was.
And that's your shop.
And that's my shop. Yep.
Is that your new shop?
That's my new shop, and
with your new Cam Master.
A Cam Master Stinger 2, yeah.
And you'll be happy to hear that I've been trying to learn how to play chess online.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can All right. Happy anniversary to my wife. 30 years. That's the ring I gave her 30 years ago. Right about now, Ted, just close it.
Okay. All right.
There you
Very
go.
cool. Well, thanks a lot for sharing those things with us. Is
Yeah.
there anybody else that wants to share anything before we close it out? Tally, you probably got some things.
Between you and I, we just took a whole hour.
Tally, you got a couple of things you want to share? You sent me an email. Let me open that email up. Here. Okay. Let's see how I can drag this. Let me just drag this over to here, and we'll do it this way. There. How's that?
All right.
What size is that?
That was actually 22 by 16.
Wow, pretty big.
Yep. And it's just made out of pine, and I actually airbrushed the stain in to give it the detail.
No, I never really gave too much thought to doing that, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not as wasteful.
Right.
And you can control how much detail you want to actually, and it gives it that antique look instead of
Sure.
the whole project.
Sure. Whoops. Let's see. Oh, what is this? Okay. Open. There it is. Okay.
Okay. So sometimes my job consists of taking down trees, and this was one of the trunks that was cut. The actual piece was like between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds.
Wow.
And I had the guy to cut me out a few slabs out of it, which was 30 inches. So that's 30 inches in diameter of live oak.
How thick?
It was actually, the finished piece is 2 inches thick. It was 3 inches thick when it was first cut. So I actually had to plane it down to surface it because it had a real rough cut from the chainsaw.
So you just put some shims underneath it and then surfaced it off?
Yeah, actually, what I do is I don't even put the shims on it. I just secure the slab on the table.
Yep.
I measure the highest point, and I start milling from the highest point down, and keep going down until whatever thickness I want to go, and then I flip it over.
Yeah, the only reason why I put shims underneath it is so it doesn't rock.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
Okay, so I just have two questions. I don't know if anybody else has questions, holler in. That's what we're here for, to answer anybody's questions. But to my thing is finishing. What you use to put on the finish?
Okay, so the finishing was, I would actually burnt it with a torch. So it was highlighted with a torch. All the letters and everything, since the oak is pretty hard and it doesn't burn as easily as pine.
Right.
I had a little bit more control over the burning. So that gave it that real highlight, and I could control the heat of it. And then after that, I put, I just cleared it. So it has like 3 coats of actually triple coat clear, which is spray can.
Okay. Now, the other question that I have for you is going around the outside there, did you use a profile router bit?
That was actually done with a V cutter. What you will see is there's actually 3 profile lines in that design. So
that is a really unique idea to do that.
Yeah. So what I did was I made it step down, and then I made it step down on another, and then I stepped down, and then the bottom part is actually pocketed out with the V-car function with the end mill and the V-car bit.
What size V-car bit did you use? What diameter?
Okay, so that particular bit was What was that? That was a 5/8. That V-carve bit was a 5/8.
Okay. So it wasn't a real large diameter bit.
No, it wasn't.
No, it looks like a good. And then my last question would be is, was the wood wet, and are you worried about cracking?
I let it dry. I had that wood probably about, I want to say about 4 months
Okay.
before I did it. Yeah, so I let it dry until I thought most of the moisture would get out of it.
Did you put any anchor seal on it or anything like that, or just let it dry?
I just let it dry. I actually sprayed the edges, the bark. I sprayed the bark with clear, and I just started letting it dry to force the moisture to come out from the top and the bottom of the wood.
Doesn't look like you have any cracking.
Now it's a few like in the.
Yeah, I see some, like right in here, a couple.
But
not bad. Not bad. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay. Let's go to the next picture. We just got a couple more, guys, and I think we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
That's cool.
Thanks.
How'd you do that?
Okay, so this right here is the base was made out of mahogany that I had in my shop that I just cut. The center part is a piece of acrylic that I cut on my laser machine, and the top piece is actually laser cut as well. This was done for my boss. He has a 66 Chevy that he wanted. He has it in show, and he's been watching some of my work. And I told him, I said, I'll do you something nice. And I asked him to send me a picture of his car.
So that was laser etched?
Yes, that was laser etched.
And you have the laser, right?
Yes, I have an upper log.
And how many watt laser do you have?
I have a 50 watt.
Okay. I've yet to learn how to do photographs, so that's something I got to learn how to do.
Yeah, photographs are it's tricky, but
yeah, it is tricky. It is tricky, but that is a really nice job. I really like it. Okay, so should I click on this picture here?
Yes. Okay, so this was a drawing that I did. This actually went out to the airport. It was a sled that was done 20 years ago. So I took the actual pictures of the original sled that was cut out by hand. I laid all the pieces out, took photographs with my phone, and then I brought this into Fusion 360 and pretty much reverse engineered it, and I added tabs. So the original one was screwed together, so I made it where to be a knockdown sled. And the next picture you'll see actual sled cut out of PVC.
Yeah, I remember, and if I remember right, this is a very large item.
Yes, it's 32 inches wide.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So this is an item you sold. You had a customer order from you.
Right. Yeah.
Very nice.
You can see the tabs going to the side, and I put under bracing at the bottom to make it sturdy.
Okay, here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the under bracing, and then the tabs are further up around the front where the front part angles. You'll see tabs and tabs along the back.
Yeah. I can't imagine that they would put much weight in it other than maybe a flower pot or something like that, maybe?
It was gifts. They just put just boxes wrapped. Just
okay.
Seeing they had gifts in it.
Okay. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it was great. Oops, I did not. Let's see. Okay, I gotta try to see if I can close that out. Move that over and close that out. And close that out. See if I can get through all these pictures. Get back to my main screen here. Okay, was there anybody else that wanted to share anything before we close this out for tonight? Okay. George is asking to search his page. What is your page, George? And I'll put it up. Let me see. Can you show us your page? Okay, G-Pen. Okay, let's see. Can you pop that up again? Let's see. Okay, let's see if I can. Let me minimize this and see if, for some reason, I'm losing my chat. I don't see the chat on there with the screen, George. Let me go back and see if I can get the chat. Okay, here it is right here. G-Pen, GP engraving. Okay, let me pull it up real quick. GP engraving. Oh, on Facebook, right? Okay, so gotta open Facebook first. GP engraving. There we go. I think that's it. There we go. And it looks like he made a rolling pin with two halves. I'm watching the chat there. If you
my audio's working now.
Yep, there it is. It's working. Okay, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Well, what happened basically is my sister-in-law broke her rolling pin and handed me all the parts and said, "Can you make me a new one?" So I just got the micrometer out, measured everything up, and spun that up on my fourth axis, the handles, and replaced the shaft to make it longer so it went up into the handles farther for better support, and gave her a rolling pin back.
Well, that's great. So what do you use for software? To use Aspire?
No,
or Fusion 360?
VCarve Pro.
Oh, VCarve Pro. Okay.
Yeah.
And you use the spun technique to make it round?
No, I actually used Profile.
Oh, okay.
Just created the profile and duplicated it.
I like it.
End to end, and then just had the machine cut it.
Okay, and did you attach it with epoxy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. And what kind of a rotary do you have?
I've got a digital wood carver machine.
Okay. And do you belong to the Fourth Axis Facebook group?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, good deal. All right. We're gonna try to do one of these webinars and try to get guys learning how to do rotary with one of the webinars to try to answer questions and get guys on the right track. So we're gonna do that. Do you have other pictures you want to share?
Yeah, just close that and scroll down. Made that for my. We've all seen that on the internet. I just basically replicated that, and
that's a nice painting you did with that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. What's that?
Steady hand.
Yeah. I hear you. You want me to hit this or close it out and look?
Hit next. See what comes up.
So you guys are all brave. Would let me hit next. Cut out individual letters.
Yeah, that's a business in town.
Okay.
She came to me and said, I've got a frame. I want to put my business name there. So we came to an agreement on what we were going to do, and I just cut it out.
Okay, where are you located?
Illinois, north suburbs of Chicago.
Okay, great.
This is the Vetric freebies, I think. I'm trying to remember. that was just there as basically as an advertisement that anybody wanted some ornaments, they could just contact me and I'd carve them up for them.
Okay.
It's obvious.
Okay.
Keep arrowing over or scroll
Oh,
down.
you may scroll down.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that one.
I'm trying to guess what it is. Is it a musical instrument?
It belongs to one, yes. Yeah, that's a piece off of a guitar. I think Arrow Wright, a friend of mine, brought me his guitar. The bridge was trashed, which there's a picture of it here somewhere. The bridge was trashed, so a friend ordered one of those.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of wood. Yeah, that's one of those. That's one of those thread pickers.
Yeah, seam pullers or seam whatever you call it.
Did you do that on your machine?
Yes.
Okay.
But the guitar part, basically, he brought the whole guitar to me and said, it's obviously broken, it's trashed, it was all rotted and pieces were busted, and he asked me if I could replicate it. So the hardest part was very carefully getting that old piece off the guitar without trashing the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it off, and I wound up welding the wood grain back together on the guitar, so it would be a good surface. And then I just sat down with my micrometer one night and basically figured out that thing with a micrometer and recreated it with VCarve Pro.
Wonderful. Yeah, it looks like you did a great job.
Thank you. One of my great nephews was born this year. I made him a baseball bat.
Wonderful. I may have to talk to you about that project. That looks like a cool project to do.
Yeah, it was fun.
I may be getting in contact with you about it. Is this a miniature baseball bat or full size?
That's a full-blown, to scale, to weight baseball bat.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like to try one of those on my machine. Are you making pens on your machine?
I do if there's something specific. This I did on my lathe.
Yeah.
This is one of my customers.
I find it much easier to do them on the lathe.
Yeah. If I get in, well, in this case, like if I wrote a quick fourth axis milling sequence and slapped the thing into the machine, had it rounded off and mill it down to size. While I was over finishing one, the machine was doing all the work for me. So after I finished sanding one, all I had to do was just, move it from one machine to the next, sand, chuck up another one, let the machine mill it down. So.
So this is just a flat surface, or is that a tapered surface?
I'm sorry?
Is that a tapered surface, or is that a flat surface?
That's flat.
Okay.
And if you drink Blanton's, you know what Blanton's is all about. And a friend of mine wanted something to give to his son, so I did this. It's pretty basic, but the big deal was charring. I charred the wood and then sealed it up, and then just did the milling, which was not really that much. It's
very interesting to see how different people come up with all these different projects.
Yeah. The golf course took a tree down, a 125-year-old oak that was on the property, and they wanted to do something because it was their anniversary last year. They wanted me to do something for them to use the tree. So that's a 97-year-old piece of limb. Actually, no, I think that's not. That's just a burl notch.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see two centers on one piece of wood.
A lot of homework.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to need to wrap it up. Is there anything else special you want to show us? Oh, there's your board from your guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really was tore up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we're running over. We're an hour and 15 minutes, so let's try to wrap this up. And I really appreciate everybody joining us tonight, coming along and seeing what we have going on. Next month will be the first Tuesday of the month. I believe is February 7th. We're going to have one of the key guys at Avid CNC be our presenter. And he wants to talk about feeds and speeds. A lot of guys get really interested in what their feeds and speeds should be, and he says they make it way too complicated. And he's got some simple ideas and some simple things to just think about when you're cutting to make your cutting go faster and smoother and better. So he's offered to be a presenter next month. So we've got a presenter already for next month, but I'm looking for somebody for March and April, May, June. So if there's anybody that you know of that would like to present, I am just having a difficult time trying to find presenters. And if I keep having that hard of a time, I think I'm going to stop doing the once a month, and I'll just do it when we get a presenter. If we can keep getting presenters every month, then I will keep doing it every month. But it's been difficult trying to find somebody that wants to present. So if you know of anybody out there, invite them. It can be a manufacturer. It could be somebody that has a product. It could be someone that had something that you saw that was really cool and you want them to explain how they did it. Ask them if they would do it and get in contact with me, and we'll give them a time, and we'll all learn from each other. So this is Ted Goth here with Michigan CNC Webinar. We have the webinars the first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We thank you for joining us and hope you have an enjoyable month. And we'd like to say goodbye for now.